Well, everyone, I tried to tell you, the best thing about being 1-4 is the chance to be 2-4, and the Patriots got the job done for the second week in a row, taking down Hurricane 49-21. And now I tried to tell you in the last episode, Hurricane is not having a great season, but man, it is downright disrespectful to go into another team's home and beat them as bad as we did. And in this game, even though I couldn't be there myself, we saw a very early momentum shift in this game, kind of similar to the one against John Marshall, where we had multiple first half touchdowns, 5 to be exact, against Hurricane, absolutely leaving the Redskins as roadkill for the rest of the game. And one thing I think is different from the early games of this season, we're finally starting to see some confidence out of this football team. I know they fumbled early on the first drive and gave it away to Hurricane, but after that, pedal to the metal, do not stop, and they kept going for the rest of the game, leading 34-7 at halftime. Unless you're Tom Brady, I don't know how you're going to come back from that at a high school level. So overall, we're seeing pure dominance. There's a lot to unpack from this game for an absolute beatdown on a Friday night. And now I talked about a lot of the defense last week. I wasn't able to get as many stats for this game as it was away. However, we're going to talk about the offense here. The man under center, Kenson Lutchmansing, 12 for 15, 429 yards, and 6 touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown added to that. Is he playing high school football, or is he playing Madden with these numbers? I don't know, but overall, I'm very impressed. Overall in this game, the passing offense was absolutely clicking. We had a couple of big screen touchdown passes that were able to be taken to the house from poor tackling from Hurricane. And I mean, ever since that absolute toilet fart of a game against Woodrow Wilson, we've seen Lutchmansing at quarterback finally get his groove going at PHS and John Marshall, and here against Hurricane. This was an absolutely perfect performance, flawless, and I think over time, he will improve to get better. I think that bye week really helped last week, and hopefully they can keep it going against the big-time Morgantown team next week. Also having a remarkable game, I talked about Channing Barrett last week. This week, did the exact same thing. 3 catches, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If some of you fantasy football people could draft Channing Barrett onto your team right now, I guarantee he would carry you for the rest of the season. As well on that receiving core, we also had Taj Joyce. No surprise here, we're seeing highlights from him every game. 95 yards from him off of 3 catches, 2 of those also being touchdowns. And folks, these were not just screens and small plays. These were absolutely electric passing plays. We had an 80-yarder from Taj Joyce. He had another score that went for 65 yards. We had a 27-yarder and a 54-yarder for Channing Barrett to score. And then adding on to that, we had a 48-yard screen pass to Logan Graham that went for a touchdown as well. So overall, the receiver core, all on the same page with the quarterback in this one. No problems. We got to see this translate for the rest of the season, and we could finally be turned around. And most of those stats were only in the first half. And to be honest, I know you want to play 4 quarters of football, but when you can leave your team dead in the ground in the first half on the road, that is absolutely incredible. Barrett also caught a 60-yarder in the second half to keep that burden going for the Hurricane defense, and that secondary was absolutely torched. And now both of these teams have first-year head coaches, and this one was just not even close. Coach Thompson, with the absolute masterclass with the screen passes and the passing game, finally flourishing. He's finding his groove. Put this man in the Hall of Fame. And like I said before, I couldn't really find any big defensive stats. I'm sure there were some. I expect that there were some. However, the defense was stout throughout most of the game. Those last 2 touchdowns really, in my opinion, coming in garbage time after South already laid the hammer down. So really another perfect performance throughout the whole team. They're finally finding their stride. And this is going to come really as another garbage loss for Hurricane. They already started the season 0-5. They finally got a good win against St. Albans just to be heartbroken by the Patriots. But I wouldn't like to have it any other way. And really right now, they just haven't been able to get it done. Listen to some of these scores. Week 1, 42-7. Week 2, 45-12. Against PHS Week 3, 45-16. Against Huntington, 68-20. Cabell Midland, 62-7. got that 44-22 win against St. Albans, and then just lost 49-21. So something's really not working out down there. But again, I'm not complaining. I'm happy that my team was finally able to turn their season around, and hopefully they can keep it going. It's only 2-4. The best thing about being 2-4 is the chance to be 3-4. And for Hurricane, they're hoping to improve to 2-6 as they take on Oak Hill on the 17th at 7:30 at night. So we'll see if they can get that done. I don't really care. I only care about Patriot football. But folks, to get to 3-4, it's not going to be easy. This week, the Patriots are having to take on Morgantown, who is currently 6-1, losing their game in an absolute blowout to Martinsburg. This is not going to be an easy one on the road, but I believe we can get it done. Now, I'm not just basing it off of a record alone. Some of these scores have been very impressive. Week 1, they beat PHS 44-7, went on to Jefferson 38-7, Hedgesville 52-7, Connellsville 48-21, beat Spring Mills in a shutout 21-0, which is another hard game that South has coming up, and then beat Wheeling Park 28-7. I'd say it's a good thing Martinsburg is not on the schedule because they just beat Morgantown 34-6. So really, this is going to be probably the toughest game of the season for the Parkersburg South Patriots. But folks, at the end of the day, they play at a field with the word pony in the name, so how tough can they really be? All jokes aside, all hands need to be on deck. This is going to be a big week of preparation and practice for the South Patriots, as they really need this win to improve to 3-4. It would be a massive confidence boost for the team as a week after they come back home to Erickson to play Lindsley for the homecoming game, which I expect all of you listening to the podcast right now to be there. And after that Lindsley homecoming game, we have to play Spring Mills and Cabell Midland after that at home. Those are going to be really big games to end the season, and we'll see if this team has the grit to make some plays in late season play. In other news around South, we had the theater bringing on their productions of Hollywood's worst screen tests, and I think the psych teacher is dead, which is my personal favorite, because the psych teacher is dead similar to how the Hurricane defense was dead all of that football game. And so if you get more chances to see our acting program, I highly recommend you do. The acting is always great, kind of like Hurricane pretending like they know how to play football. And in other arts news, the Parkersburg South Patriot Marching Band, as of this time of recording, 5 for 5 grand champions at their band competition so far. So hopefully their success continues. Definitely go watch them if you haven't got a chance yet. They are excellent. In other basic news, the homecoming court was finally announced last week. I'll go ahead and say all of the winners of that here in case you missed it. Freshmen, we had Zoe Black, Madison May, Kaysen Litton, and Jackson Varner. Sophomores, Sailor Gibson, Evelyn Murray, Nicholas Amos, Kevin Myers. Juniors, Nevaeh Gonzalez, Allison Hayes, Paisley McDonald, Lexi Smith, Ethan Boso, Cole Coltrider, Asher Davis, Alex Parati. Seniors, we had Maddie Archer, Allie Evans, Jolie Strothers, Jaden Vargas, Reagan Ward, Harmony Watkins, Jackson Evans, Caden Johnson, Taj Joyce, Gavin Moyers, Bowen Rader, and Kyler Wise. I don't really understand what it's all about, but congratulations to all of you. I look forward to seeing that whole ceremony thing going on during the Lindsley football game. And again, that will be on October 24th, the homecoming game against Lindsley. I believe the theme is Barbie, so show up, be loud. We got to get that victory, and hopefully it'll be a big win to end homecoming week. And to slow things down and talk about the podcast itself a little bit, I said this would be maybe a bi-monthly, monthly, or weekly kind of thing. It usually just kind of depends on what's going on around the football world and the sports world. There will be commentary on basketball. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any other sports or not. We'll see. It depends. I'm more sharp around the football arena, but hey, I'm open to talking about things. So if you have ideas, send an email, send a DM on Instagram, and we'll see what we can do. At some point in the future, I would love to do some live streams, maybe at the games. I'm considering that for either the homecoming game or maybe the Halloween game against Spring Mills. I might want to do some live streams and some interviews as well, so hopefully we can get that worked out in the future. I'd love to interview some football players that I know, but it's going to take me a little bit to get that organized. I'm also considering doing a giveaway of some sort, whether that be some South merchandise, something like that, South t-shirt, an all sports pass, something like that. I haven't really decided yet, though, but we'll see how far this podcast thing keeps going. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far. On episode 1, I posted that to Spotify. We got about 72 plays, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, some suggestions, which I'm always open to, which is awesome, so I love hearing the feedback about that. Also, considering maybe a Q&A episode here soon in case a boring game happens, so maybe in the next week or two, I'll go on Instagram and have some questions submitted that we can discuss over the podcast. But so far, I think all is going well. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Also in the future, I might decide to set up, a little setup at a game at home at Erickson and maybe do some live commentary as the game goes on, kind of like a broadcasting deal. That would be pretty cool in my opinion. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see. And again, if you have any suggestions or ideas whatsoever, send them to the podcast on DMs on Instagram or on the Gmail, which is also linked through the Instagram. And just let me know. The worst I can say is no. I'm pretty full of bad ideas, but no ideas are bad ideas in my opinion. And at the end of the last episode, I said to send game-ending audio with you and your friends after the game ends. Whether we win or lose, I still want that. I know we were away, so that's probably not going to happen for this one. But whenever we come back home and play Lindsley, send me your game audio at the end. I'd love to put it in the end of the podcast as we're rolling out, so that would be very awesome to see as well. And I try to keep these podcast episodes short so far. I'm thinking of maybe adding a Song of the Week poll or something like that we can discuss and kind of involve the community around. So other than that in interviews, I think we can keep evolving this, and it'll be pretty cool. And upcoming at South, we got a lot of events going on. Homecoming week, we got the homecoming parade, we got the trunk or treat, Halloween game, homecoming game, all sorts of stuff. So get active, get involved, get excited, do something good this week. Keep planning, keep working. Grades are closing, so obviously we're all getting tired. I'm getting tired as a football fan. Some of these football games in the NFL, high school, and college level, they're taking years off my life, man. But use this week to get your grades closed, get them good so you can sit back and enjoy some football for the following weeks to come, and we can all slack off together on Spotify on the podcast. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I know we do have the girls' Powder Puff game coming up for homecoming. I may provide some commentary or a stream on that, something like that. So that is something to look out for in the future. That would definitely be something cool. It is a form of football, and you know I love football, baby. But that is all stuff to look out for in the future. This week, we got a hungry Patriot football team traveling to Morgantown to take on a 6-1 team. Wish them luck, lift up the boys. Hopefully, they can get the job done. And until that, I'm going to call it quits. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Go South.
Y'all know what it is. Southside in the house. We ain't playing no games. Hey, yo, that is cool. Yo, let me drop some truth straight from the mic. Hurricane on the field, ain't nothing but a fright. They talk a big game, but their skills are so weak. Every single play, they just turn the other cheek. South is the king, we wear the crown with pride. While Hurricane's dreams slowly pushed aside. Their offense is a joke, their defense is a mess. Every time they play, they just fail the test. Hurricanes, bullies, what they all lost. Every game, they ain't reaching no stars. Stadium's a joke. A Halloween fried soundstorm, man, shining ever so bright. Ooh, hey, hurricanes on the spreads. Can't